I think it's a lot of booby traps though. Like I'm not trying to make excuses, but it's a lot of booby traps in the world that make us irresponsible, to make us do a lot of stuff that, like, I remember one time.
I'm set up for that.
Speaking of like the love addiction thing, right? I remember I was telling one of my homeboys, I'm like, I've been living right. You know what I'm saying? Like, and when I was speaking to that, he was like, one time he was like, it's because you ain't been nowhere. And I'm like, well, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been places, but he's just referring to my lifestyle is different. But I was kind of like, well, maybe that's what it takes. My lifestyle to be a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? Think to myself, like, maybe it takes for me to not put myself in the environment of certain stimuli that I know, you know what I'm saying, is not susceptible to me living the way that I need to, you know what I'm saying, for me to be the highest version of myself as a man. You know what I'm saying? Fulfilling what I need to in my career, my relationship. And what that takes me to is with you spoke of social media doing that to us. You spoke of, you said,
I'm big on that.
You took a whole year, like a year diet from social. I never heard nobody do no shit like that. So I'm just, if you wouldn't mind, speak to what clicked in your brain to be like, you know what? I'm finna take a year off.
Okay. Well, like? I honestly believe, and I know people are going to hate me for saying this, and I even use social media for my job and stuff, but I feel like it's destroying this world. Like,
absolutely.
God, hands down, it is so toxic. It's actually more addictive than drugs and alcohol. Like,
at this point.
Yeah, it is so addicting. And
it's our biggest drug.
And the compare and despair that can come up for you. And it really hit me one day. I just had my son, and I remember I was so happy, and I got on Instagram and I like looked for probably a couple of minutes, and I saw something, and I don't even remember what it was, but it just, my entire mentality just was like less than, like, I shit all over that moment with my son. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, this means nothing. This is all filter. This is people's outside filter lives that are not real. And I'm comparing it. Yeah. Right. So I said, this is not healthy for me anymore. And I took a year off, and honest to God, it was the best year ever. I was at such serenity and peace. And the beautiful thing is, now that I'm on it again, my husband and I have rules. We like barely go on it. We'll just go on to like check things. We have rules because it's just so toxic.
It's that serious. And I don't care who believes it. I don't care. I do it for myself. Like, just recently, I started a Facebook when we started this, because I hadn't had Facebook in 4 years.
Yeah.
But I was still feeding myself through Instagram anyway. So I was still getting a dose of it no matter what.
Yeah.
But I feel that though Facebook is the most toxic for me. So I got back on through this so we can do for promotion. And it really wasn't doing anything for that. And I was actually seeing myself sink in to people's gossip and things and ways, and to the point where now I want to post some crazy shit, and I'm getting, like, just like not even really being myself, because sometimes people are taking on so many energies and thinking that it's them, and it's really not even that.
It just spreads bad information. But I think the main thing that's so toxic, it's a false sense of intimacy. When you're on and you're getting likes, it's like a dopamine hit. Like, how many likes? And then you're interacting with people, and there's no real intimacy. It's like air. It doesn't mean anything. There's no connection. So, I just think it's so toxic.
I had to get back off of it, mind you.
I got to shout out.
I couldn't take it anymore.
I got to shout out Mr. Leo. I call him Pops. You know what I'm saying? He's like pretty much a good friend of mine. He's her father, and he's been in my life for, approaching 20 years. And one time, me and him were talking about it, and Mr. Leo told me people are desensitized to a false sense of reality with social media. And when he told me that, I was like, what does desensitized means? And when he broke it down, I'm like, man, okay, I get it. It's like what you comparing yourself to. You don't understand, like, they're producing their own content the same way TV has always produced content. So if we're all producing it, it's not fair for us to really compare ourselves to each other at all. And I think you said one time you had a friend of yours that made a post and you felt a certain way. And then ironically, that same friend reached out to you and just poured their heart out like, hey, and you like, man, you thinking their life is like so perfect. And then they called and confessed that.
Literally 5 minutes later.
Oh wow.
5 minutes. That's like a
that.
God shot, right?
They
That's
thought they
like,
needed it, but you needed it too,
Yeah.
you know?
yeah. I mean, she reached out to me 5 minutes later and said like things were not good with her and her man. And 5 minutes before, I saw this beautiful picture, beautiful house, beautiful blah blah blah.
And put you in a way about yourself.
Well, I hung up the phone with her after being of service and like helping her as much as I could. And I just looked up at the sky and started cracking up. I was like, okay, I hear you, God. Like, I get it. Like, I'm done.
Right.
But I do have to say, you were asking me before about, the social media and things, but also other things I had to take out of my life, which I think is really important. And I have to say it, like, intriguing and flirting and like the whole DM thing. And I literally took all of that out of my life. Like, I do not flirt. I do not have any guy friends. I'm not inappropriate. No one flirts with me. That stuff I realized also was so toxic because we get a hit.
Yeah.
Like the flirting, it's not real. It's like air.